According to Frank, chapter 9, Angels in Disguise. This is a story of three angels that lived together in heaven. GS was a love angel, Lynn was a dream angel, and Sib was a care angel. Although there is no perception of time or age in heaven, GS had the beautiful wings of an older soul, while Sib's wings were just as beautiful were those of a somewhat newer soul. Lynn, who spent most of the time in the clouds, always trying to fly a little higher, a little longer, had a soul origin somewhere in between GS and Sib. But Lynn had the wings of a dream angel, which always seemed to be a bit more tattered and torn than any other angel's wings, probably from all the flying high in the clouds and falling hard to the ground it took to be a dream angel. Now, since all angels in heavens are guardians or guides, they have very powerful and specific magic. They are more than capable to guide a soul on their own at times, but most of the time it's a group effort. It's very rare to have love without caring, so it makes sense that GS and Sib were always together. Some say that love is just a dream, but it's hard to dream if you don't have love. So you can also see why Lynn and GS would spend a lot of time together, and you can't nurture a dream without caring, and sometimes care is only a dream. So Lynn liked to be with Sib as much as possible too, and vice versa. These three angels lived in heaven, which was, well, heavenly. But whenever they were together, it was blissfully heavenly, and endless possibilities would explode out of heaven and shower the earth, and all in heaven and earth would benefit. There were many times these angels would have to be apart whenever a soul needed just love or caring or their dreams to guide them, but they always found a way back to each other as soon as they could. Then one day, Lynn flew higher in heaven than ever before and saw God. God asked Lynn, "How did you fly so high?" Lynn replied, "I didn't notice how high I flew because I was dreaming." God laughed and said, "You are a very good dream angel, Lynn, but aren't you afraid that your wings will get tired and you will fall all the way back to where you started from?" Lynn replied, "Nah, not really. It's happened many times before, but Sib and GS are always there to love and care for me, so I'm never afraid to dream anything." God was pleased with this and decided to tell Lynn of God's plans for Sib, Lynn, and GS. God said that the world desperately needed lots of love, so GS, along with all other love angels currently in heaven, have to be sent to earth. Lynn pleaded with God not to send GS, and all at once felt the fatigue of a dream slipping away, and Lynn's wings suddenly grew very tired. As Lynn started to fall and felt scared for the first time, knowing that GS would not be there to soften the landing with love, Lynn cried out to God, "Please let me and Sib go with GS." God smiled and promised Lynn that the time would come when all three angels would be together again on earth, as in heaven. But until then, God said to Lynn, "It's up to you and Sib to watch over, to guard, and to guide GS to my voice, which is an individually true voice that will reveal what is already known in heaven of a plan for GS, as it will reveal a plan for you, Lynn, and for you, Sib, and for all other angels who have earned a role in this universal plan on earth as they did in heaven." Lynn didn't really comprehend what God was saying, because all angels knew their roles in this plan, because they chose it themselves in the state of pure joy in heaven. God could see that Lynn was struggling to stay within the sight of God, as Lynn's wings grew more tired than they had ever been. So God whispered to Lynn, "On earth as it is in heaven, Lynn, on earth as it is in heaven." Then God made Lynn promise to remember the magic of a dream angel, and to always enjoy and be grateful for this gift. Along with this, God also made Lynn promise that whenever Sib, Lynn, and GS were together, as God had promised, Lynn would remember and remind the love angel, the dream angel, and the care angel to use the magic they have inside of them individually and collectively to create a joy on earth as they did in heaven. How do I do that? Was Lynn's last and final question while still in the sight of God. Just do to them what you did to me while you were with me on earth as it was in heaven, was God's reply. As Lynn, whose wings were completely fatigued at this point, went into a free fall while taking this vow, accepting this fate, and making this promise, was ready to fall all the way to the earth on the faith of these words of God, suddenly felt the caring arms of Sib catch a falling angel from heaven and stop Lynn from falling all the way to earth. Sib flew Lynn back to heaven as always, but this time Sib had to do it without GS. As they returned to heaven, Lynn told Sib that GS was gone, and together they cried over their loss of their love, as they rejoiced in the truth of God's word, and tears of caring dreams showered the earth to nurture the love that God had sent to the world. As God promised, it wasn't long until the world was in desperate need of dream angels. So the world was filled with dreams, and Lynn was sent to earth to be with GS. Shortly after all the dream angels filled the world with possibilities, much care was needed, and God showered the world with care angels and sent Sib to be with Lynn and GS. God had fulfilled his promise to Lynn, and all three angels were together again. Now Lynn had to keep his promise to God and use the magic of loving, dreaming, and caring to create heaven on earth. But Lynn didn't remember making such a promise or even remember being an angel. God never told Lynn angels on earth don't have wings or have any real memories of heaven. God never told Lynn that everyone on earth is an angel trying to remember the promise they made. God never told Lynn that not all angels figure out how to keep their promises and hear and listen to God's whisper. But God gave Lynn what Lynn had asked of God. God gave Lynn GS and Sib to remind Lynn of heaven and to guide Lynn to the whisper of God. It's all Lynn needed to figure out how to keep a promise to God and be the best dream angel Lynn could be. It happened without even trying, just like magic, because it's always like on heaven, on earth, whenever Sib, Lynn, and GS are together, as promised in heaven, because on earth, and in this story, my story, siblings are just angels in disguise. I can't ever remember being alone. I kind of remember waiting for my younger sister to be born and her coming home for the first time, but really all of my memories start with Carol, and my older sister Chris has just always been there as a part of my life. I remember when we lived in the city, Chris and Carol had shared a bedroom, and since I was the only boy, I had a small room all to myself. In both of our rooms, there was a painting, or at least a print, of the same painting hanging on the walls. It was a painting that depicted a beautiful female guardian angel watching over a small boy and his older sister crossing over a rickety old wood and rope bridge with planks missing and much peril along the way. I used to lie in bed as I fell asleep fixating on that painting, wondering about my guardian angel and wondering how the angel in the painting would keep that little boy from taking that next step of the journey across that scary bridge where there was no plank to support him. I didn't really know what I believed in other than what was taught to me, but I just had this feeling that God had a plan for me and that there were angels around to guide me and keep me safe as they helped me play my part in this plan. I just had no idea how close these angels would be to me. My younger sister Carol, although younger than me, is really my first and oldest friend. Well, Chris is too, but she is the oldest sibling, and I revered her as such. And since she is 6 years older than me, my memories of us before Carol, who is 4 years younger than me, are very spotty. My relationship with Chris grew much stronger as adults than as children's. Nevertheless, both Chris and Carol were there for me to play with, fight with, and grow with before I was able to yell across our street for the first time to turn a stranger into a new friend. Ever since then, they have been my best friends, and they have been with me no matter what bridge I've had to cross. They have made it easy for me not to be afraid to fail in order to succeed. Anyone can be there for you when you succeed, but it takes an angel to be there with you when you fail, especially when it happens over and over again. I wouldn't be able to celebrate and enjoy the successes among the many failures in my life as much as I do every day without my angels by my side. It perplexes me now as it did when I was a small child and I fixated on that guardian angel painting. It's funny how my life has become that painting, and I'm still a wide-eyed little boy that believes any bridge can be crossed because I have angels to watch over me physically and spiritually, whether I succeed or fail, unconditionally. Maybe I shouldn't have fixated on that painting so much, or maybe just like my sisters, it's a reminder to me of heaven and the promises I made to God and to myself. The promise I made to listen to the whisper and find my vocation and help others find theirs. So together we can realize that we are all angels in disguise, sent here to create the harmony of heaven right here on earth. Yeah, I'll say it again. Maybe I'm just crazy. It is clinically a very good possibility, but I kind of believe that the story I made up about siblings in heaven to be true. After all, the story came from the same whisper that I claim to be the voice of God. Faith is not easy to have at times, but when you believe some of the things I believe, but I can't help myself. When it comes to faith, it's all I got. It's the only way I can keep going. In my mind, the whisper told me I am Lynn, the dream angel that made God laugh and made God smile. So I granted my sister's love and caring to guard and guide me as a gift or a prize, because I promised God as I was falling from heaven that I would make them laugh and that I would make them smile on earth as I did in heaven. Crazy, I know, but I love this story and I love this song. As I have said many times throughout these chapters, I started writing on a total leap of faith with no idea what to write about. And somewhere along the way, I realized that the only chance I had to write any kind of book was to write about the inspiration or the whisper I heard of the voice, of the words, of the songs of my life that I had already written. So that's what I was trying to do. But as I did, more songs were written, so more chapters had to be added, and I have been constantly playing catch up to the songs with this book. But I thought I was done. I didn't think there were any other songs for the book, and I was finally going to catch up and finish. I actually apologized to my confidant, my sister Chris, who knows more about me, this book, and all my crazy thoughts than anyone else. When I realized there wasn't a chapter for her and there wasn't a chapter for Carol, the two most important women in my life, the two most important best friends in my life. I explained to Chris that I did not know how I could write a chapter on them because they were a part of and are in every chapter of my life, which is true. I really can't remember, and I haven't read back, but I'm willing to bet that they are mentioned in almost every chapter of this book. Chris told me to totally not worry about it, and she totally understood, and so would Carol. Well, I was content with my explanation and Chris's reaction to it, so I continued to try to catch the chapters of the book to the songs when one day, after a lengthy conversation with Chris, I was overwhelmed with a feeling of gratitude. I thought how lucky I was to have a sister that I can talk to about my dreams and all the things we talk about. I thought how lucky I was to have someone like my sister Carol so close by in my life that cares enough to always make me feel special. I was flooded with childhood memories of sledding and snowball fighting days at Lake Lonnie, and memories of lots of laughter. Then I thought about how they have always been my biggest fans, no matter what I do. I thought about all the times that both of them bailed me out, financially, emotionally, physically, time and time again. I thought about all the good times we have together as adults, and the laughter, always lots of laughter, as I became an uncle to their children and they became aunts to mine. And I thought to myself how lucky I am to be surrounded by such a beautiful family, like a thorn surrounded by roses. What a wonderful world this is for me with my sisters in it, just like heaven on earth. Then as all of these thoughts subsided, they were replaced with a whisper. a whisper humming a melody. And then, you guessed it, I started to cry. As I struggled to write down the words that came pouring out of my soul, just like magic, and I wrote a love song for my sisters. What's wrong with that? I need to know, because here I go again. Wait, that's the words to a different song that I didn't write. What I did write, as always, were very simple words to a simple song, but I love it. The funny thing is, I can't write a song when I try to do it all by myself. I can only do it in collaboration with the Whisper. I am so grateful. Angels in Disguise, Sisters. I remember when we were young, laughing about a song we sung. We made the words up sledding down a hill. You rode front, I was in the back. Didn't care if we went fast. Had more fun when we crash and fall. My kid sister and me. Finding all the fun in sibling rivalry. You've always been the best friend that I need, and that ain't easy when you got a brother like me. Older sister, you've been always there. I wonder if you ever noticed my stare, as I adored everything you do. When we got older and our friendship grew, you showed me things that I never knew. I learned so much just from watching you. My big sister and me, finding all the good in everything you see. You've always been the best friend that I need, and that ain't easy when you got a brother like me. All my life by my side, guardian angels in disguise, I could never cross a scary bridge without you. Oh, my sisters and me have always been the love of our family. You've always been the best friends that I need, and that ain't easy when you got a brother like me. But I'm so lucky that you got a brother that's me. My sisters and me. My sisters and me. My sisters and me. My sisters and me.
I remember when we were young, laughing about a song we sung, made the words up sledding down a hill. You rode front, I was in the back, didn't care if we went fast, had more fun when we crash and fall. My kid sister and me, finding all the fun in a sibling rivalry. You've always been the best friend that I need. That ain't easy when you got a brother like me. Older sister, you've been always there. I wonder if you ever noticed my stare as I adored everything you do. We got older and our friendship grew. You showed me things that I never knew. I learned so much just from watching you. My big sister and me, finding all the good in everything you see. always been the best friend that I need. And that ain't easy when you got a brother like me. All my life by my side, guardian angels in disguise. I could never cross a scary bridge without you. All my sisters and me, finding all the love in our family. You've always been the best friend that I need. And that ain't easy when you got a brother like me. But I'm so lucky that you got a brother that's me. My sisters and me, my sisters and me. Oh, my sisters and me, just my sisters and me. Oh, my sisters and me.